I'm Sebastian Diaz. I'm the founder of Coaches United. I also played soccer. I've coached. I've done just about everything there is to do in the sport. I'm a fan living the Copa America right now to the fullest. But yeah, I for me, I just consider myself kind of, I guess, connector. I like to connect. I like to basically serve almost like a bridge or a connection between somebody that needs something and the resource basically. So for us, what we do in Coaches United is just create community because there's really a lot of people that need belonging. They need somewhere they can be, whether it's because of money, they can't play the sport because they don't have money. So we receive them in all sizes and shapes and ages. So we work with just about anybody. I mean, Carl was a perfect example. We how we ran into each other, and he just instantly knew what this was about, and he's still here. At some point, I've been talking to some people, and we'd love to do something for Palestine, to bring something the those kids that have gone through so much. So at some point, it would be nice to do things in different places where it's needed, where positive memories are built. And for us, that's the soccer field. Every time we when the soccer field or anything really related to soccer is almost always something positive. So
That's what
uh,
that's what we do.
So over the last 4 years, what do you kind of see as what's the mission of Cultures United? What's its core mission really?
I believe that our mission is at this point, being that we are national, we want to go international. Of course, that's what we're doing, but we want to touch more countries because we realize that the need for our organization is international. It's not just a city or a national effort. It is an international effort. And, we have kids all over the world going through the same exact situation. So it's not only here, it's everywhere.
I know even at some point in 2020, the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, we played a basketball season. Coaches United had a basketball team. And what was cool is a group of fathers that just got together and played basketball, including myself. And it was fun. We had fun for that whole season. We couldn't find the interest to keep funding it because it's it's expensive, but while it lasted, it was fun. It was really fun. We've done soccer camps or sports camps where we invite people from other sports and do different things, and I think those are all wins. But at the same time, the one thing that we found that we want to have focus on is soccer for kids, like free soccer for kids, because especially here in the United States, that's rare. That's very rare. Soccer it is not easy to access in a lot of places, especially here in Seattle. Seattle is a wealthy city, so we often forget about those that don't have money, and so and with things being as expensive as they are, so we wanna, like, at the very least offer that free fun time for the kids at free accessible cost basically.
Yeah, and I remember me growing up as a kid. There was I played baseball mostly. I never played American football, but baseball. And I remember back in those days, having a sporting event for a kid, it was free. You didn't pay for anything. All you needed for baseball was a glove.
Yeah.
Okay, but these days, the cost of kids being able to go out and participate in any sporting events costs hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
For me, it's been beautiful times when we see, like, um locals coming in um in the same group, having the same having good interactions where they learn about the local history and everything, and vice versa. So it's nice to see those friendships being made. from people all over the world, wherever they're from, Middle East, Asia, um, Ukrainians. At some point, we had a good amount of Ukrainians.
Yeah, we played against them. We also we had a women's team, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that we did. And since then, the organization has, I mean, it has really taken off and grown. But there's a lot more growth to be doing, because there's a lot more people that we need to touch. You know, because we are, as the colors state, we are Cultures United, and we're a happy family, and we tend on continue growing, because we're not going to give up.
Sebastian, you were telling Jim and I about starting the soccer program in Colombia, and I just thought that was like the most touching story. So I don't know if you could just share with us briefly again how the soccer club and camp got started in Colombia.
So we down there in Colombia, we obviously there's a lot of need in certain areas, but we identified one specific neighborhood where we wanted to be, because we've heard stories and whatnot. So a friend of mine helped me find some coaches that at the time were interested in helping us do that program, and so we started with like a weekend soccer camp just to see the interest and whatnot. So we had a few coaches come out to help us with the soccer camp, and over 50 kids that came out, and that was fun. We gave them all shirts. We provided food for them, and what we realized is, well, the coordinator there is my auntie. She does that voluntarily, but she went there and she was in charge of like the logistics, and she said, well, look, the kids really enjoy the soccer part, but the one thing that was definitely most touching to all of us was the kids lined up for food like they never ate before. They When they got their snacks, they saved half of them for their younger siblings at home or for mom or whatever. They ate the rest and they didn't let anything go to waste. And one of the girls said that apparently came up to my auntie crying that that was the first meal she had today, and so that she might have today, actually that might be the only meal that she might have today. So um, that's where we kind of said, okay, well, we're already here, let's see what we can keep doing. So we came back and we kept doing the same thing, and now we're basically on 5 months completed there. And so 5 months of not just doing soccer, but providing snacks for these kids. We're partnering with a nonprofit in Colombia that helps us with the snacks, and we basically provide for the coaching for the coaches in their time. So.
Well, my question was, what's next for Cultures United? So it seems like you definitely want to go a bit more global, which is awesome. And then where else do you kind of see the future of the club?
Future of the club. Well, as far as our club goes, we would very much so like to be in the USL 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome to compete there. We need some serious funding for that, at least 50 grand. But it would be fun to compete in a fun, like that's always been a goal. Like I feel like if we made it that far, we would have all the players come back, like they want to be part of it again. The food bank, we're really good friends with the food bank, and like many things that we've been trying to access, and whenever we get access to them, we give it out. There was one time we a nonprofit in Chicago donated 20 laptops, and we around Christmas time, so actually went out to the front homes and we gave them a laptop for Christmas. So a certain 20 homes that got a laptop, so that was nice to do that too. Like little things like that help bridge the gap, and with the laptops, bridging the gap of technology access, and then and with the food bank and other situations, bridging the gap of food access. Like people need some access to food. So
we want to do more than just scratch the surface.
yeah.
Among all these different situations, we want to dig deep holes
Yeah.
and make sure people are well taken care of.
I was gonna mention, so you just mentioned some of the obstacles that, you know, you've experienced kind of at the league level, particularly among the women's team. Are there any obstacles or barriers that you've found that the players on the teams or the kids that participate in Cultures United experience?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Obstacles.
For me, the
Fu-
biggest one
It's
is
funding.
well, fun. Yeah, for me,
That's it.
for me, I would love because I think that wellness for us, I love to be kind of. I know this is kind of out of the league, but to be a resource that offers wraparound services, like because our families are not just struggling with money, food,
Food,
health. Like a lot of them,
housing.
we asked. There was one year when we did a survey with one group, and we're like, "Here, just fill this out the best you can," and they did, and a lot of them don't go to the doctor. To be fair, look, I don't even really go to the doctor, like when for regular checkups and whatnot. And so like that's I feel like that's important. Like is having access to health, or even just education. Like even just having education about certain things. Like we love to have like a space where we call home, like some we for years we've been trying to get into like some office space where we can not only use for office space, but we also like have some like workshops where we can bring people and say, hey, today we're gonna learn about financial, about even just credit scores and all that stuff, things that typically our families don't really get access to because they're working. And so like it'd be nice to have an extra space also for our kids and for our anybody really as part of our organization, for them to learn and get more educated. But I think the biggest one for me and the one that worries me the most is access to food, because at the very least we should have access to food. And when people don't have access to food, that worries me. I like that, and that's something that we always take into like our own hands. Like I know Carl and his wife have fed us plenty. So and then whenever we can during the pandemic, I remember we talked to a local nonprofit, and they gave us some gift cards that then we gave out to our families for groceries and all that stuff. And
Don't forget the food bank in White Center.
the food